Hey guys, it's Rich Boy J here, back in with another video, and this is going to be part 18 of Your Questions Answered. Your Questions Answered is a weekly Q&A series that I do on this channel. If you want to see your questions answered in one of these videos, go ahead and drop it in the comment section. Make sure it's Lego Star Wars or Lego Star Wars related, and check back next week to see if you made the cut. Let's jump right into the questions. First question comes from Brickfan Productions. He says, what was your first mock you did, and how old were you? Most of you who know me will know that the first mock I did when I was really getting heavily into mock building was, of course, Padme's apartment from Star Wars Episode 2. Not really sure why I chose that mock, but I put this question in here because I wanted to look even further back. He asked how old I was, which kind of implied to me that he's expecting something like literally the first mock I ever did in my lifetime. And it's kind of hard to pinpoint that. As someone who played with Lego pretty much all throughout my childhood, it's hard to say what my first mock was because I was building so many various things back then. But some of the mocks that I can just remember and that were significant to me when I was a younger child was, I remember I built like a yacht. At one point, it was probably the size of a base plate, and it was pretty cool to me. Like, it had multiple levels, and it was literally the biggest thing that I ever built out of my collection. I remember that whenever I finished building it, I had basically a big tub of Lego, and all of my Lego spare parts were in that tub outside like my sets and stuff. And I remember looking in the tub and there was just so much of it missing once I finished that mock that I was just genuinely surprised, like, holy crap, I can't believe I used that many pieces on it. The first Star Wars mock I can remember building was actually really just like a modification of my ARC 170. And by modification, I mean I just took the pieces and made a different ship with it, but I ended up taking it apart and rebuilding the ARC 170 because it was just that cool of a ship. But I don't have any pictures of this, obviously. Like, this was before I even had a camera. But one thing I do have a picture of, and this may actually be like the first mock I ever made, and it's this picture right here. This is a very young picture of me. I have to be like maybe 3 to 5 in this picture. And you can see that I'm holding like a ship. Looks sort of like an X-Wing. I don't know what it could have been. But yeah, that's a mock. That's one of my first mock. So yeah, there you go. I was a great mock builder then, and I'm just trying to live up to that nowadays. Moving on to the next question, it's by Josh Pierce. He says, what franchise would you like to see Lego make into a theme, and why is it Firefly or Mass Effect? I would love for Lego to do a Firefly. If it weren't Firefly, which is probably at the top of my list, I would honestly have to go with something maybe like Spaceballs. I can just think of like the mock potential for like Easter eggs with having Spaceballs minifigures. I'm super bummed that Lego Idea still is not picked up on that Winnebago that someone put up there. But yeah, I would love to see Spaceballs, and oh my god, there would just be so many great opportunities to put Spaceballs figures and Star Wars mocks as Easter eggs. So those two, Firefly, Spaceballs, those are the franchises I would like to see made into Lego. Next question is by Fearless Fab. He says, if you could design a Lego part, what would it be? Now, this wouldn't be like a really brand new idea of a part. I would just honestly like to see one or two things. I would like to see wedge tiles, so like wedge plates but without studs on them. Wedge plates are just used so frequently, and it would be nice to get just them without tiles so you can really have like a snot effect on it. Like, I don't really like the way it looks whenever you cover wedge plates with tiles. I think it kind of defeats the purpose of using a wedge plate because then the edge of the tiles kind of supersede the shape of the wedge plate. So I would like to see something like wedge tiles in just various sizes. And if not that, I would like to just see various sizes of reverse tiles. Like right now we have the 2x2 reverse tile, and I would like to see more of them. I know that like the head on a Unikitty I think is a 1x3 reverse tile, but there's like the hole in the middle, which would obviously be problematic. I think you could just solve it ultimately by doing like a 1x1 reverse tile, because then like you kind of solve the issue with every other reverse tile, because a 1x1 can obviously be combined in multiple ways to make all the other shapes. So yeah, 1x1 reverse tile would be great. It would be just an easy way to make your build snot and cover the anti-studs as well. So yeah, I'm gonna go with reverse tiles or wedge tiles. Next question is by Tipping Top Hat. He says, would you like to see a UCS Tantive 4 in 2019 for the 20th anniversary of Lego Star Wars next year? Yes, I think that would be like either the ideal ship to do, either that or another UCS Star Destroyer. The Tantive would just make the most sense though. It's the first ship we see in Star Wars. It makes sense as an anniversary set. We got one so long ago and we haven't had anything like it since, of course excluding the playset that they did, but I still don't think that that can really take the place of the UCS set. So I would like to see something that combines the benefits of the UCS set with the playset, like something around the size of the UCS set, maybe even a little bit larger, but still has a lot of the interior rooms that the playset has. So that would be ideal. We could get an updated version of Captain Antilles. We could get an updated version of that Leia using the new skirt piece, and maybe even have like a head mold with her hood up. Who knows? There's so many awesome things you could do with that, and I would just love to see them take another crack at UCS Tantive 4. Next question is by Wooden Bacon. He says, which is the worst Star Wars original trilogy movie? I feel like it's pretty much agreed on that episode 6 is the weakest of the first 3. That's not to say that episode 3 is a bad movie. It's honestly a really good movie, but it just kind of falls short of the greatness of episodes 4 and 5. Like, obviously having another Death Star was not ideal. It honestly kind of feels like we were somewhat robbed of a great, you know, original storyline with the original trilogy, since they just decided to do a Death Star again, which I don't really understand, but, you know, that's whatever. It's still a pretty good movie, but I just feel like, you know, we could have done something just brand new with our characters just to really solidify the awesomeness of that original trilogy. But yeah, episode 6 has to be the weakest. Episode 4 and 5 are my 2 favorite Star Wars movies respectively. And then episode 6 is somewhere below the sequel movies for me. Next question is by Batarang. He says, if they make a new Ahsoka minifig, should she have the new medium legs like Harry Potter minifigures? Yes, absolutely. It would be great to see LEGO start transitioning some of those newer elements like the shorter legs to some of the Star Wars figures. I can already think of so many figures that could use those. Of course, Ahsoka is one, and if we are to believe that we're getting that AT-AP and Droid Gunship, I believe one of the rumored minifigures in either of those sets is an Ahsoka minifigure. Of course, it's going to be from the Clone Wars because that's what that's from. And she should be shorter than a lot of the adults, and that would work perfectly. She's obviously too tall for the tiny legs, but the medium legs would just work perfectly for her. So I'd love to see that. I think Gamorrean guards could benefit from this as well. Once again, they aren't super tall, but they aren't super short either. I think a 9-Numb minifigure could work with this as well. He's not very tall. Yeah, there's just so many opportunities to use those medium legs on Star Wars figures, and I do hope that at some point, really soon, they start to take advantage of that. Last question is by Commander Creed, and he says, what do you think about Star Wars cosplay and the amount of time and effort people put in to make their outfit accurate to the films and other material they cosplay is based on? I think it's awesome. Honestly, if I wasn't so heavily entrenched in LEGO Star Wars and spending most of my money on LEGO Star Wars, I would love to be in like the 501st or one of those fan groups for Star Wars and have my own set of like Stormtrooper armor or something like that. I totally wouldn't mind dropping very large amounts of cash on that, because I just think it's the coolest thing in the world. You know, we all imagine ourselves as part of the Star Wars universe at one point or another, whether it be in dreams or just daydreaming or whatever, and just to have, you know, a set of armor that you could call your own, or a costume that you could call your own, I think is something that most Star Wars fans would appreciate. And I mean, I put so much detail into my Lego builds. Like, I go into excruciating pain to make sure it's as close to the reference material as I possibly can make it. I don't see why it would be any different I was doing cosplay or something like that. So I don't fault those guys at all for that. I think it's awesome, and I would love to try it out myself someday, or even the R2 Builders Club. So that's going to finish up the video today, guys. I hope that you enjoyed it. Like I said, if you want to see your questions answered in this video, just go ahead and drop it in the comment section. Make sure it's Lego Star Wars or Lego Star Wars related. Check back next week to see if you made the cut. Like I always say, if you like what I do, go ahead, support the video by hitting this like button, support the channel by hitting the subscribe button, and I'll be back again very soon.